Anybody stand out to you today? I mean, obviously Jacoby Owens.
Yeah, he did. He did have a couple of good runs. I think you can see he has good power. I thought as the spring went on, he learned how to be a better runner too, just instinctively. And he's a good straight line runner. And I thought he became a little bit more shifty as the spring progressed for him.
Were those the expectations you had of him? 'Cause to me, he kind of came out of nowhere, but obviously
he has some ability. There's no question. The other part you can tell he's done a heck of a job in the weight room. Seen physically, and what's going to be key for him, as it is for every guy, is what gets done here over the next 4.5 months.
Carson Roberts and Nate Romine, because of last year, were kind of thrown into onto the field. Could you see improvement from them these last 15 practices?
Yeah, in some instances, really, I thought great improvement. And with all three quarterbacks, with Colton and Carson and Nate Romine, and yet we had to have that. And yet deep down, those guys have worked awfully hard during the last, ever since the season concluded, and certainly during January and February, things that you have to do in the weight room to make you a better skill and a better quarterback.
Now, having done this game, are you happy you did it? Is this something you'd like to do again?
No doubt, Brent. I mean, it's something I've wanted to do for a while. In fact, next year, if whether it's here, we pick another location here, they're in Colorado Springs or in South Denver. I just love it. You get out in the community. It's something you'd like to do a lot more frequently, and it's just neat to be a part of Colorado Springs.
Mm-hmm. Troy, you had guys you held out obviously because of injuries and other things. Is it hard to get into any kind of rhythm when you have that? Because spring, you tend to be more cautious than you would be maybe in the fall.
Yeah, Jim, what'll end up happening? We'll find out. You better be an everyday guy, and I don't think we have any gold brick guys, that are part of us. I don't think actually you go to the academy that way. But what you're going to do, you won't have a choice but to improve. If you're able to lift every day, all the things that we do in the weight room, and you're able to practice just the way that we structure and organize practice, and collectively, the way our guys push one another, you're only going to develop as a football player. And the guys that do it will be the guys that will play. The guys that don't won't.
Was it an ankle that kept John Lee out today?
Nope. Academically, he missed the last 3 practices, and that was a choice that we made as a coaching staff.
Okay. And defensively, it's hard to gauge in this setting. The quarterback's not live. Donnie Wharton had a sack and a fumble recovery. Mm-hmm. Anybody else stand out to you? Just on quick.
I think the one thing you can see, just leadership-wise, having Christian Spears, who's played a good bit of football, to help some of the other guys get lined up. I think naturally going into his senior season, I thought he did some good things throughout the spring. I thought Troy Calhoun did a fine job for us at nose guard too. He's a guy that really you can tell is starting to come into his own in terms of learning how to play on the interior. And I think the other spot defensively, I thought our inside backers made really, really good improvement throughout the entire spring. Both Healy brothers, Connor and Patrick, Jordan Pierce being able to get in there some, but also with Spencer Proctor and just all those guys, and Joey Nick a little bit when he was involved in the first week and a half.
Okay. And Cody Apfel, he's a guy you've mentioned before, and I've seen him making some plays, and he did it out here too.
He did, Brent. He's done that throughout the spring in both ways, on deep balls and underneath balls. Has very good ball skills. Just one of those guys we had a hunch. When we recruited him, he'd be one of those guys maybe in 2 years you'd project and say, hey, development-wise in our program, he could be a solid player for us. And so it'd be fun to see what he does as we get into August.
Okay. And then Hancock also. You've had a number of undersized tailbacks who can get the job done. Could he be in that mix?
Yeah, he's a slot. I don't necessarily as a tailback. Or not,
but kind of a...
Yeah, as a slot receiver, yes, sir. He's really an interesting story. Tucker Hancock, he was here for 3 semesters, and he left for 2 years to go on a mission. And in fact, you hear some of the stories that are involved during those 2 years when he was on his mission. Pretty fascinating work. And then still, he came back to the academy because he wants to be a graduate of the academy and go serve in the Air Force.
Do you know where he went on his mission?
You got to ask him.
Okay.
I think it was someplace. Yeah, you better ask him.
And he does look like a guy. He's a receiver, but he might be involved in the running game, right?
He could. In fact, he had a couple of perimeter plays today, as he had throughout the spring. He has good strength, has good ball skills, and just as a man is really a dependable person.
It was a good spring. Learned a lot. We got good at the simple things, and I think that's what's going to be important for our team is just being good at anything really, but specifically the triple option. And learned a lot. Got to get better though. So that's what's good about the spring is you got 15 chances to go out, practice, get better. Now we get the summer and then the fall.
What did you think about your performance today?
Not satisfied. I mean, there's always room for improvement. A couple throws that I could have had that I should have had. I mean, in the springtime, 9 out of 10 times we got it. So that's just going to be this time off is going to be dedicated working with my receivers, kind of getting a better rapport with everyone and making those cheese throws, I guess.
How nice was it, though, to get this atmosphere? I've seen you guys look really good indoors and kind of have that, you get a rhythm going in there. To come out here with people watching, in the wind a little bit.
It's nice. I mean, being able to have the community come out and watch us, and then at the same time be outdoors and enjoy a little Colorado fresh air. So it's much different than practicing in the hack, and it's going to be important because we're going to have some tough weather games. I know this is not tough at all, but it's nice to get reminded that, hey, not everything's going to be perfect.
Yeah, and you guys had a lot of this Owens guy kind of came out of nowhere for your team. Number, what is he?
28.
28. I had never seen him do anything.
Yes, sir. It's tough with the freshman year trying to kind of come out and show everything you got. And sometimes you got to be lucky with, or fortunate enough to get out there and play with the events happening, or just right off the bat being a number one guy. So springtime is big on proving yourself and a proving ground for others, and hopefully a lot of freshmen got that chance to do that.
All right. And do you feel like you've done what you need to do to kind of put yourself in position in August to be this team's quarterback?
Shoot, that's a good question. Did what I thought I could, but I mean, there's always things that I'm going to go back in the film room tomorrow and be like, well, that's something I need to work on, and I'm going to have a whole 4 months to think about it and work on it. So I did my best. I think just got to keep improving. That's the best thing. You can't be satisfied. You can't get complacent with where you're at. Are
you a lot farther along, though, than you were 5 months ago? Everything was thrown at you right off the bat. And
I was just
suddenly the starter.
I was just learning the offense 5 months ago. So I think I got the basics down. Now it's just getting really intricate, or getting into it and getting the finer details down.
Yeah.